friends, welcome back. Today we have a guest, Betty. This is very interesting. I haven't really done a sit-down interview like this since Snack Chat with Paul. But today we're talking about part-time MBA versus full-time MBA. Betty's a part-time MBA student and I'm a full-time MBA student. We're both Taiwanese. Yeah. Do you just want to give a quick intro about you?
So I graduated from University of Illinois 6 years ago, and then I actually started working in Chicago in KPMG. I used to be an external auditor for 3 years. Then I transitioned into a IR investor relations role in one of the hedge funds called Citadel, and I have been in Citadel for the past 3 years. So within the last 2 years in Citadel, I've been considering pursuing like one more degrees, which is MBA. And then so I'm actually currently in Chicago Booth Business School, and then I am halfway through my program. So I'm at my 10th and 11th classes now.
How long does it typically take for a part-time student to finish their program?
Usually it's average is 2.5 years to 10 years to finish the whole program. So it used to be, I think it was like 5 or 8 years, but they extended. And then given the part-time students have a lot of like work obligation, life obligations, so they usually take quarters off if they want to. So that's the nice things about part-time is the flexibility. And then some part-timers are as hardcore as, full-timers. Sometimes they will take 2 years to finish. So I have met somebody who actually squeezed all the classes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Brief intro about me, if you don't know already. Yeah. This is my channel, but I am a full-time MBA student at Booth. I grew up in Taiwan, moved to Seattle for University of Washington for my undergrad degree. Also doing accounting and information systems. So also both accounting. You're a CPA, right? Yes. We're both CPAs. I worked at EY. Friends. Yeah, friends. Trauma bonding. No, kidding. I worked at EY for a couple of years in tech risk consulting. Wanted to pivot into something a little bit more creative. So looked towards like PM routes and PMM routes. This summer we'll be going to Adobe. So it's very different because full-time your whole life just stops and you go to school and etc. So just kind of here to talk about some differences. So you said people take roughly like 5 years-ish to finish?
Yeah, like a lot of people take like 2.5 to 3 years, but like it's very normal for people to just like extend, and then a lot of part-timers actually do like the network aspect of MBAs. They like to stay longer to accumulate
that makes sense.
The connections, and then a lot of people come to like part-timers. A lot of people already have sort of goals in their career, like professional life, like that. First time trying, by the way. Professional life and
It's Colombian coffee?
yeah, that's what I was saying.
God damn, I got imported from Colombia. Like I never knew to drink their shit. It's good. Anyway, it's fine. Sorry.
But those people actually come to MBA to like start their own business. So a lot of them actually need a connections. That's why they like to stay longer. They like to make like really like connections with the professors too. So they will take as many classes as they want. I know one of the part-timers, he was here forever. He took like more than like 30 classes, crazy things like that, because he just like keep taking more classes because he likes to learn and he doesn't want to meet that graduation criteria, so he never need to graduate.
Wow. How many hours did you say you take classes a week?
I would say 2 classes per quarter. So it really depends on the workload of the classes. Like if it's like Monday, Wednesday, I go to work from like, let's say 8 to 5, and then I will run to class 6 to 9, and then depends on like how busy I am with the class. Maybe I need to like study a little bit after class if there's a group projects or there's anything like that. Currently, I'm actually a little crazy. I like to torture myself. I'm taking 3 classes this quarter.
That's the same as me.
Yeah, like,
But I have no job.
yeah. So I have no life basically.
That's insane.
So yeah, I have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is a little bit out of control, I would say, because every night I feel like I was just chased by the deadline.
I don't understand.
Yeah, but I would say though, like most of the students take 2 classes. Some will take easier, like 1 classes. It just takes longer to graduate, which is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Wow. How much free time would you say you have in a week?
This quarter, barely. I feel like because I also am a big traveler in general, so I take a lot of personal trips and then work trips also for business reasons. So I remember I have like most weekends in March, I was out of town for a lot of like weddings, trips with friends, and a Taiwanese retreat, the House Club retreat. And then so when both the Saturday, Sunday, something including Friday nights are gone, when you come back, you have to work on Monday, and you basically have to like go straight into like the homework mode. So I really have no much like personal time this quarter. If you minus like all the fun trip I've done on the weekends. But I would say I'm actually not like complaining as much, because I do think that it's really important that you actually enjoy what you're learning, and then or at least you're somebody who is like sharing the like burden with you. Like if you look at all the part-time students, they're all going through the same thing, so I don't feel as bad. And also my tuition is paid for, so I was like, I need to study hard.
Oh, okay. Are most part-time students like sponsored, have the tuitions paid for?
So actually not. A lot of part-time students actually I know of are actually take their student loans, or like at least like, you know, have the parents help out to pay out like the tuition part. Some companies offer some sort of like small quota, like it really varies. My company is like really generous, really nice. They actually offer full-time reimbursement, like full reimbursement. They have a requirement though, so like for us it's like 1 year after you graduate, you have to stay with
Only one?
Yeah, so it's not terrible. And then the grades, you need to get B minus and above for all the classes.
Oh shit.
Get reimbursed.
No. I'm Asian. Duh. Like, no. Like, I've gotten B's, but definitely not lower than B's. Okay, let me just be clear. What I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there's grades requirements. But after, if you get like C or whatever, it's like 70% reimbursement. So it's not terrible.
Of the whole thing. Not of the quarter.
And the quarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how reimbursement work for us, if people are interested, really is just you submit your grades after you graduate. So you kind of pay with your out of pocket first in beginning of quarter, and after quarter ends, and then you got your grades. You submit like the receipt, and then your grades.
They reimburse you quarter. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly. And so it really depends. I also know some people come from other companies. Their quota for the whole year is like, for example, 7,000. So that's like not even a class. So some people also have that reason to take longer to graduate, because they kind of wanna.
Oh wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Use the benefits. So it really depends. But most of my friends actually I know of, they really like taking their own money to do this. So that's why we can go through this later. Part-time students study harder because they truly really want to learn. They really want to get something out of it, because they're paying out of their own money.
What are you saying?
A lot of full-timers also is really hardworking, but
Not me.
a lot of you guys have more chances to get the scholarship, right? We have less scholarship.
Oh, I didn't know.
Chances.
Okay. So your tuition is based per class, like how many classes you take, not like a quarter system or like.
Yeah. Class.
Because that's different from like full time. You pay a whole quarter of tuition regardless of how many classes you take, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. So same tuition for 3 classes and 4 classes.
Then you want to take more.
Fuck no. I just need to graduate with a certain amount.
I see.
It's like really because like the trade-off is depends on what you want to get out of class, right? Because for instance, if you take 4 classes, you actually take out a lot of the social things and a lot of guys that you can participate as a full-time MBA student. So it just really depends on like what you need 2 quarters of 4 classes.
Yeah.
Throughout your whole thing. So some people just need that, which what I plan to do is doing 4 classes for 2 quarters.
I see.
Both in my second year. I haven't done 4 classes yet because been acclimating, do a lot of social things like this video thing, you know, like it's a lot to find the balance. So I didn't want to over-index some 4 classes and like die.
Yeah, I feel like full-time and part-time has such like different like goals going into
100%. So like before I get to the goals and like why you want to do your MBA, I guess I wanted to ask, what's the age range in the part-time? Because for full-time, an average is around 28. So like people come in their first year, they're 27 years old, and then what did I say? 27 years old, yeah, and then they go to their second year and they're 28, 29 sort of thing. Like that's where the age range is. There is a bigger gap where like I'm on the younger side as a Booth scholar, which is like a deferred MBA person where I did too. So I'm 25 right now, and there's a few like 24 to 26 people, and then there's a range that's 30 and above, but like mostly are congregated around the age of 27, 29.
I would say we actually do have very younger folks like you too. People who graduate from undergrad have a year working experience. I do met some of those, and even in my cohort. But when like the older ends can be way older than you guys. I feel like there's like 35 people. There's like 35 years old or like 36 years old here.
And not common.
No, and then a lot of people actually have kids, and then they actually try to balance like even more stuff than I do. Their family going older, I feel like a lot of people going with executive MBA routes. So it's slightly different than our MBA route. My understanding is people trying to get more in depth or like get those management skill sets in the current job or current like industry they are like already so good at. It's like they're like experts in. But for us, it's we are still exploring around and then maybe jump from one industry to the other. So it's like different purposes.
Right. Yeah. And so you talked about like goals in terms of why you wanted to get an MBA. For me, it was mostly to pivot industries, especially as an international person. Like an MBA degree really, like the visa allows you to do a bunch of any business things that you want to do, pretty much. Whereas in my undergrad, the visa was centered around accounting and information systems, so I could only do that. So part of me coming to my MBA is to pivot, and two, it's for the network. Hence, I went for the full time where I'm like fully immersed in this whole experience. It really feels like high school, not gonna lie, a little bit. Like you're
Not like undergrad?
not like undergrad. Undergrad, you're like in a small, you have your small friend groups, but it's not like everybody's together. But this is like a whole cohort together.
That's true.
Like on a weekly basis, I have my small group, close friends that I hang out with a lot. But on a weekly basis, I probably hang out with like the same 100 of people the whole week.
Wow.
Like I'm pretty social. I think so. Like for the full-time MBA program, a class is like 600 people. I don't know about your class.
Our quarter, so we're a quarter system, right? So like it's rolling basis. Okay. So every quarter you have new friends. But our cohort, which we started same quarter, we have 60 people.
Only? Wow.
But like think about like a year, like usually because I started in spring 2023, so spring usually smaller.
Okay.
And like summer usually coming into fall quarter, there tends to be a larger class. The reason I think is just everybody's like mindset is set to like start classes in
the fall.
You know, yeah.
Okay, so like
a
year would probably be around like I want to say like 300 students maybe.
Yeah, here like more or less.
Yeah. So full time is 600 per year. So there's 1,200 students.
So you guys have more.
So we all live in the same building. So like part time students, probably live where they're close to working, etc. But we live within 5-minute walking distance of each other.
Yeah, and then we also have weekend students who fly in for class only.
Dang.
I have like a friend in my cohort living in Minnesota, and then flying Saturday morning flight, and then like literally the earliest, and then go straight to Glacier for morning class, and then afternoon class, and then go back to the airport and fly back to Minnesota.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she does this since spring 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very different lifestyle. Like we don't really get to interact with part-time students that much, except for like club events. I met Betty because we're both Taiwan co-chairs, Taiwan club co-chairs, and that's how we met.
Yeah.
But other than that, or like there aren't really a lot of things that allow you to mingle, except for like battle the band. So I'm in a band, and one of my bandmates is a part-time student.
Yeah.
So there are some opportunities, but you just don't really get to mingle with that much.
Yeah, I feel like it is there's definitely opportunities. Oh, you can add a ketchup, by the way, if you want to. Why don't I try the original taste first? Is it good? Can you please tell me if this is warm inside?
It's a little warm, but it's been out for a while.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I would say there's actually one of my concern when I apply for part-time, because I feel like I want to meet all student buddies, not just like being confined by one part-time student or evening student or weekend students. And then I was deciding, between different schools, not just U Chicago Booth at that time. And then I think one of the question I asked a lot for current students, like, how was the interaction between, different programs? I would say, like, you guys are definitely very tight with each other because of, like, the schedule really permits you guys to do a lot of things together.
Yeah.
And then how the whole program is set up is you guys always have, like, cohort things together.
Yeah.
And then there's also dinner with professor. Oh, like, there's always something. I saw there's, like, a dinner with professor. Where you can sign up a student group.
Oh, is it the AMBA thing?
or something like that. I don't know. I was like, that's kind of cool. All my full-time student was talking about it. But part-timers is a little hard because everybody has obligations. It's not even just like, because like I would say if you put in the effort, you can actually meet a lot of full-time students. Like if I put in the effort, I actually met Irene. I met a lot of other cool people in the full-time program. You can literally reach out and ask for like coffee chats. Or, like, let's hang out or whatever you guys have parties. Like, let me know. But like the thing is, we just get so exhausted after work.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also do think it also applies to like multiple, even in the full-time program, if you don't put in the work to reach out to people, you're still not going to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's actually interesting to lead into my next question is, and probably one of the last questions because I don't want this video to be too long. But the question is, what sort of events do you guys have as like a class, or do you do mostly hangouts with your friends, more self-organized, or are there like club events, etc.?
We have a student advisory council, which is SAC, which is like probably you guys have a similar
Student life.
Yeah. And then so they kind of organize once a quarter, like the bigger events. So we just had our spring event is the boat cruise. I'm good right now. The boat cruise, and then so it's like a huge boat. You dress up for different theme, and then you are out in Michigan Lake for like 3 hours, dancing, eating, drinking, and then we have like the fall is a big like soiree kind of thing. So it's like a formal, if you can understand, as like you dress up and then
Prom,
and then like that, and then we also have like in the summer we have like the cups, like the baseball, and then the games.
Those full-time, part-time events, same day together, June. I don't actually. Oh, it's in June. Oh, never mind. Ours is May.
Because you guys are all interning somewhere.
Yeah, we're not in Chicago.
So yeah, so we have that coming up. There's always some events. So I'm part of the Graduate Women Business Club, and then so there's a tons of like female-led events, and then we have like small dinners around like different Chicago like cool restaurants. So I just had a dinner with like 500 people in Gil's Bar, so which is a really nice place. Nice place.
Hard to make a reservation though.
Yeah. So that was a great event. It's very common for people, grab a drink after class and get to know each other better. We also have like drinks with professors. Sometimes like different professor got picked of this quarter. You get to know them better. There's tons of events here and there always. Just like depends on if you want to participate or not. It's like you open the Slack and there's always something going.
Similar. I do have one last question. Yeah. Pros and cons. Like, what are your favorite parts of being a part-time MBA? What are the things that you wished were different? Or like, were there any moments where you wished you did a full-time MBA sort of?
Yeah. So actually we should go back to my goals, right? My goals. I think I didn't mention my goals. So I think that going to MBA, I have put a lot of thoughts into why part-time, full-time. So this is like a perfect question to end this conversation. When I first think about MBA, the reason I want to go to a school is like I want to really have this structure of learning about finance, and because I just switched industry from accounting to finance, I think being in hedge fund, it's a little hard for me to like really learn everything in a system because everybody's really competitive, really smart. They all learn in their own ways, and then you get a lot of like resources, but it's all come in like piecemeals from different directions. And for me, the best way for me to learn is I need to build up that foundation. So I think going into a school, learning from professor who's like have this broad expertise makes most sense to me. And then I also know that our companies offer some sort of like, educational program for free. So why not take advantage of it? And then I had a master in accounting already. So I was not going with like just master of something. I kind of want to go into like more like, okay, this is my last degree. If I'm not going to pursue PhD, which I will not. So which is, MBA is my last degree. That kind of like is a great way of summarize or at least like diversify your skill sets. So I think that's why I want to go to MBA in the beginning, like of just thinking about this program in general. But I was debating between part-time, full-time for a while. The biggest reason that kind of prevent me from going to full-time is just the visa issues. So I'm also international student. I was a H1B student, worker. So that means that if I'm going to be a full-timer, I'm giving up my work visa, which is really hard to go through, like, right? Like you have to go through the lottery.
Isn't your H1B pause? It pauses.
Mm-hmm. But I just don't know if, everything's uncertain if I go into school and I'm find the next job, if this gonna be the job gonna sponsor me and can pick up my H1B going forward. So So for a student who went through the whole like lottery and all the hurdle, like I did not want to go through that kind of risk again. So that's why very biggest reason I did not think about full time, because I was like, if I am actually not hating my job, I actually enjoy my job at that moment, and it was a new job for me. I enjoy the industry. I just want to learn more. Full time sounds a great opportunity. I think I envy all the time, like you guys are getting so close, the bonding, the experience, the travels you guys done. And honestly, it was just like kind of really life changing, honestly, right?
People can make jokes about the bonding. I'm just gonna say, spring break.
Oh, but like that's
The Reddit thread. The Reddit thread.
Oh,
Yikes! I wasn't there. I got deported from Colombia.
oh my God. Oh,
So I wasn't there. But
anyways, fun outsider.
On there.
Outsider. I think outsider.
I'm kidding. There is a lot of bonding. Outsider. Okay.
No, but outsider, I do think full timer has its value, and then the value is like you. If you need to change a job, if you really think about you want to change industry, if you really just like really don't know what you are gonna do, and you think you need that inspirations, you need to like find a route to go through. And an MBA, I think honestly, full time is worth the 2 years opportunity cost. But if you are like me, like you are somewhat like, you know, okay with your job, and you're like actually happy, you just change a job, and then you are great with like, you know, your current situations of the status, like visa status.
Yeah.
And then also like a big reason is the money aspect, right? Like, do you want to give up like the current salary and then pay 200K out of pocket, depends on if you have scholarship or not, to go through this 2 year? Is it worth it? And to me, at that time, I just want to learn. I need to like, you know, better myself in my professional job. Second is that I want to, you know, expand my networks in different industry, because I come from accounting background, and graduated from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, big accounting school. All my friends are Big Four. So like, that's why I want to expand that, like, you know, horizon, and meet people from tech, meet more people from healthcare, just different type of people. And then the third reason is like, I just think it would be nice to, you know, explore different type of like, you know, areas of VC, entrepreneurship, PE, or like just tech, without really fully giving up of what I have right now, because I truly have not fully explored the hedge fund area, the industry. So at that time, I just don't think it's worth for me to give up everything I have to explore something that come with greater uncertainties, you know?
That makes sense.
And then I will say, going back to your question of the pros and cons, pros is definitely the flexibilities, as I talk about. You can pause a quarter. You don't need to like bid for classes. And then you have that much a long time, like 8 years or 10 years. Don't quote me on that, because I need to double check.
I think it's 18 years.
Yeah, you can finish your degree. And then the second is that you actually get the same instructors, like same professors as full-timers. And then the best part about Booth is like all the great like professor with like all this like, you know, Nobel Prize winners, like very cool background that you interact with from like week to week. And then the third things, like the pros, honestly, is like everybody you're mingling with in classroom is like they bring in the current issue they are facing at work.
That's different, because we don't have that. We don't really do that much.
Yeah. So like you're actually interacting and asking question and solving question that you are facing currently, and it's pretty applicable. And then you feel like, oh, I could just try it tomorrow at work, you know. So you actually practice what you learn a lot. I would say the cons is that you are really stretched very thin. Depends on if you have the bandwidth to do a lot. I like to do a lot. I like to, you know, network, I like to meet people. I like to also, you know, get as much possible out of the classroom. So you are basically, you have to give up something. So I feel like, remember, MBA is like 3S: study, study, social, and sleep. And then how do you balance all three?
You can't. You only pick 2 out of 3 every single quarter. I'm not even kidding. Like, yeah, I'm sacrificing sleep this quarter, and it's not.
Yeah, but like for part-timers, you have all 3 in the school setting. You have all 3 in the work and personal life setting too. So balance 6. And then so you really don't get to do much. You sometimes just gonna be a good student. Sometimes you're gonna be a better worker. So I just like a balance. And then other cons, I would say it's just a lot of things you wanna do. You might not be able to. So for example, I wanted to study abroad. The one I want to go to is Paris. It's 3 weeks. But given my work, it's really hard to take 3 weeks off from work. Just some like opportunities like that. Like it's cool to like, you know, learn about luxury management in Paris or mingle with people from different colleges. You do need to like work your way around it. yeah, depends on if your work is flexible or not.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this conversation real quick, but thank you so much for helping with this. Study abroad, definitely different. Full time, a lot of people take a whole last quarter, like a couple months, 2 to 3 months in Europe or something, Barcelona, Paris, London, etc. The flexibility thing is definitely interesting because I have a friend who, if this episode people are interested and you have questions about more about this, I have a full-time friend who stuck with his part-time for his full-time job. Well, he reduced the hours at his job, so now he's part-time employee, full-time MBA student. What? Which is insane. He still works like 30 hours a week, does a full-time MBA program, and I have no idea how he manages it because he still shows up to TNBC and a bunch of social things. I literally don't know how he does it. But like, it's like the flip side, which is very interesting in my opinion because it's definitely not common. Most people quit their jobs, but also people have in-quarter internships. Or like for me, taking a lab class this quarter, which I get to work with clients in the real world.
Yeah.
So it's not paid. It's like free labor. Unless you take an internship, but that's different.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because now we're doing part-time job with a full-time MBA. You guys are doing part-time MBA with a full-time job. So it's kind of that